Yeah, what's going on, Chich? Second week in a row, right? You get the three. It's a winning streak, right? We're actually
Exactly.
doing it. We're actually doing it. Our second week, man. It's so great, man. I'm excited for this show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We got a bucket of balls segment coming, which will be an interesting thing. Pack of cards, which hey, there's always a little nerves there. You open up pack cards. Hopefully you've got a story of the cards. But this is gonna be great, bro. We'll be talking a little baseball and my man Rich Chichimino. Chich, what's going on out there in New York?
Not much, man. It's getting sunny finally and warm around here. Finally, it's been freezing up on the East Coast here, but we're good. We're getting loose. That's it. Just hanging out, trying not to get fat, sitting at home all the time.
Dude, have you ever made homemade ice cream? Speaking of getting fat.
No.
Yeah, my daughter the other night, she's like, I got this ice cream maker. I'm like, Jillian, make us some ice cream. And I got this heavy cream from the family cow. Boom, we fired it in there real nice. My buddy went to Haiti recently, brought me back some Haitian vanilla. It was like the vanilla on steroids. It was like the best vanilla you ever had. I don't know if you've ever made ice cream before, but it churns and it keeps going 25 minutes. And talk about getting fatter. I was just like, this is delicious. And I just kept eating it out of the thing. And at the end of it, it was like, there was not much ice cream left. So I don't know if you've ever made ice cream. It's a good time, bro.
The only thing I know about making ice cream is that I watch Food Network all the time. And people on Chopped, when they get to the dessert round, when they make ice cream, they always fail. They either under-churn it or over-churn it. So the only thing I can say about this is if you're ever on Food Network contest show, don't ever make ice cream. Don't ever try to make your own pasta because there's not enough time. And then what was the third one? Oh, don't ever, ever try to make risotto. It never gets ready. That's all I got. Are you ready to get going here? You ready? We got good stuff to talk about.
Let's go, brother. Let's go. I'm really excited.
First order of business, 4 no-hitters so far this season. Earliest in the calendar year that there have been 4 no-hitters since 1917. Only the second season in MLB history to have 4 no-hitters before the end of May, according to ESPN Stats and Info. What's going on?
Wow. Yeah, I think that's unbelievable. I have to think, though, I know we blame COVID for pretty much everything in our lives this past year, but I'd have to think there's got to be some sort of hangover effect of a 60-game season last year, maybe not getting the reps, kind of a weird spring training again this year. And the bottom line is, Chich, when you go to spring training as a hitter, brother, and you're facing pitching, they're so far ahead, right? And obviously these guys, night in and night out, these guys are facing some fuel pitching. Guys are 96 and 99. It seems like everybody is now. So, it feels like the hitters are a little behind. Also, I think the approach, sometimes with the hitters nowadays, it does drive me crazy with just the, 3 wild swings and you're out of there. I'd like to see a little bit more, and you are seeing it a little bit with some of the guys, but, some more 2-strike approach, like spread out, like A to B, put the ball in play. I think sometimes that's part of it too. Guys, the approaches aren't maybe as good as, they could be. So there's a lot of different variables, but yeah, really, really rare. We've seen, 4 no-hitters already.
Yeah. All right. Well, you are probably the number one authority on no-hitters because you've been on every side of them, not just playing. Take us through your experience with no-hitters. It's great.
Man, my first experience was a no-hitter. My rookie year, I think it was September 13, 1998. I'm with the Reds. We're facing Andy Bennis, who was with the Diamondbacks at the time, who was really good, right? One of the best pitchers in the league. And man, he's dominating us, just wheeling and dealing. It's a day game. And we get to like the 8th inning and, we're sitting there, and the one thing about the team that's getting no hit, that team doesn't want to get no hit, right? They're like, you know what? We don't want to go down as a team that had no hits. So there's some pride there too. You're like, come on guys, let's get something going here. Let's get something going. Well, I'm on deck coming into the 9th. I can't remember who got out, but there's one out in the 9th, and I came up and I can't remember the count, but Bennett threw me a fastball middle in, and I hit a line drive over the second baseman's head, and I was like, oh yeah, and I think the guys in the dugout are cheering, oh yeah, too. Like I said, you do not want to be on the other side of a no hitter because it's one of those things. So that was my first encounter with a no hitter, and it takes you back to it's funny when you look back at Kurt Schilling, I believe years back when he had a no hitter against the Padres, I believe, and Ben Davis laid down a bunt late in the game. and Schilling kind of, really went nuts about that, and I think Verlander, it happened to him a few years ago. He had a no-hitter. Yeah. And it was Eric Ibar, kind of laid down another bunt, and Verlander was mad. But here's the thing with that. You got a 2-0 game with Schilling and a 3-0 game with Verlander. And my feeling as a player is we're in this game. You're a bloop and a blast. We always talk about that in the dugout. Hey guys, let's get in here, bloop and a blast, and we're back in this thing. So, for me, the no-hitter etiquette and stuff like that. Hey, listen, the other teams start trying to get hits, trying to get base runners, and trying to win a ball game. I think that's a big part of the etiquette as far as a no-hitter goes.
Right. And what about, so you were with Verlander for his first no-hitter. Take us through that game.
Oh, man. It was one of the coolest games of my life, man. It was May 7th, 2007. We're playing the Brewers, and, you could tell Verlander had great stuff. He's one of the guys that I've played with, one of the elite players I've played with. It was his second year in the big leagues, too. Well, he was a thoroughbred, man. This guy was just a hard worker, had electric stuff. He was 97 to 100. With a wipeout slider, great curveball, and a good changeup. You can tell in inning one, I'm like, man, Verlander's got it going tonight. Like, there's something special. He's pumping, he's wheeling and dealing. And, it was a third inning, I think. I was holding a guy on. Fred Counsell comes up, man, hits a rocket to my left. I make a diving play, boom. You don't think much of it in the third, right? Maglio Ordonez, I think later in the game, comes in, bam, he makes a sliding play in right. And so, as players, when you're sitting in the dugout, you get to that about seventh inning, you're like, hey, we got a no-hitter going. Then you look out, no one's talking to Verlander, he's sitting by himself. You're all kind of feeling that way. Hey, let's not talk to Verlander because we don't want to jinx anything. Us baseball players get really superstitious. So as the game went on, it's funny, people ask you about your mindset. Like, what's your mindset? Like, are you thinking, don't hit the ball to me? And what's funny is, in my experience in that no-hitter, I was the opposite. I was like, hit the ball to me. Like, I was thinking in the seventh, if the Brewers hit 9 ground balls the first, Verlander's got a no-hitter. I think that's where your mind goes. I know that's where my mind went to. And when he did it, man, it was such a celebration because it's a celebration of the team. It's a celebration of Verlander, but all the other guys out there have to play a part in that. I think that's the cool thing about no-hitters that these guys are experiencing. It's a team thing, man. You get a no-hitter. There's plays that have been made throughout the game and stuff. So just cool experiences, man, when you're part of no-hitters.
Yeah, and before we get to you broadcasted a no-hitter, which I'm very excited to talk about in a minute. We have somebody who's going to give us a little feedback on that. But you mentioned no-hitter etiquette, not talking to the pitcher, whatever. I'm going to do this right now. Our good dear friend John Smoltz chimed in to let us know what his take is on no-hitter etiquette.
Okay, pitcher's etiquette on a no-hitter or just no-hitter etiquette in general. When you're on the mound, the pitcher controls kind of whether he talks or not. Some guys don't talk at all. Some guys want to talk. And then players who are watching the game really are at the mercy of the pitcher. But I would say the etiquette of a no-hitter is you don't change seats, you don't move, you don't talk to the pitcher unless he talks to you, and therefore you just kind of stay status quo. You don't want anything to change. As far as my no-hitter going into the 9th inning, 1 out, that day I had not eaten. It was a day game. For a variety of reasons, I thought pitching on an empty stomach would be a better idea. Well, I was about to pass out in the 8th. So in the top of the 8th, we batted. In the bottom of the 8th, I'm getting ready to go out. I went inside the clubhouse, and I just saw whatever I saw first, I was going to eat it because I really thought I was going to pass out. And I ate a Zagnut. Way back in the day, Zagnuts were popular. Well, in the 9th inning with 1 out, 2-0 count on Lenny Dykstra, I gave up a hit. I'm here to pronounce that I have never had a Zagnut since. I hold it solely responsible for me losing that no-hitter. So that's the story of my possible no-hitter and the story of no-hitter etiquette.
Oh, my God, that's so good. That is so good. I mean, I literally heard that story from Smoltzy. And I went to every gas station you could go to that has the best candy bars in the Pittsburgh area. All I could find was Zagnut's little sister, Butterfinger. Right? This is gonna be a no-hitter show, Chancellor. We're gonna give it up with 1 out in the 8th. I don't know what's going on.
Perfect. Take a sip of water. You got Butterfinger's going to dry out your mouth. It's going to be terrible.
I know.
All right, now, next part. So you broke up a no-hitter.
Yeah.
You fielded during a no-hitter, and you broadcasted one. Walk us through that experience.
Wow, man. Well, first off, going back to Smoltz, I loved Smoltz saying, "Don't talk to the pitcher, don't change seats, and the player's at the mercy of the pitcher." I kind of felt that way too when I was broadcasting. I'm like, you could see a no hitter going on. I'm with Matty V, Matty V's the best in the business, like the greatest, in the booth. So I'm a little nervous too because Matty V's my buddy, but when he's in the booth, he's like freaking Superman. I'm like, this guy, I believe, yeah, he's locked in. So. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I gotta get my act together here, and we're kind of going through, and I just remember one of the things I really remember, Chich, I think the superstition was kind of going too. I'm like, we got a no-hitter going here. Like, I'm not going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to sit here even though I'm in the booth. And I remember Chris Pfeiffer, who was our producer, was like, hey, Case, and Matty, if they end up getting no, he just told me, hey, Case, if they end up getting a no-hitter, why don't you just lay out, which is in TV terms means shut up and don't say anything, right? And that's pretty much I couldn't say anything. I think I gave it the right. I think I gave it a nice holy Moses, and I had to jump in.
Well, the good thing about that is I reached out to our dear friend Matty V to have him give his take on how you handled the call on the final out, and he was kind enough to respond. Let's see this right here.
Quick impression of Sean Casey's call in the final out of the Homer Bailey no-hitter.
There you go. That's what we got.
I mean, seriously, Matty, listen, you know what that is? That's just Matty V big time and somebody, you know what I mean? Because he is like Superman. And I tell you what, it was nerve-wracking. I didn't know what to say. There's so many people that we went out afterwards, grabbed a bite to eat, and Matty V and I were talking. He's like, man, what a day. Like, there's guys that have called games their whole life, have never called a no-hitter. Here I am doing my first MLB Network game, and I'm calling no-hitter with Matty V, the best in the booth. And I'm just like, I didn't know what to say, but I was like, I think that's what I said. I was like, holy Moses, Homer Bailey throws a no-hitter. And I was just like, unbelievable. I think Matty V looked at me like, that's the best you got right there, holy Moses. Look, I couldn't think of anything else. I should have laid out like Fife said, just said nothing.
Oh, man. That's all good. So we've covered the no-hitter stuff. We're all good. We got no-hitter etiquette. Now, we got a bunch of stuff that's been going on this past week or two that's been kind of like a consistent theme. A lot of players kind of talking a little more than normal, especially one, Trevor Bauer, after I think they lost 15 of 20 in a row, the Dodgers did, and I think he pitched on Mother's Day. And so he comes out after the game and spoke. This is our first quote of the week. I want you to hear this and then let me know your take.
I don't necessarily want to speak for the team. I don't know. There's a lot of other guys in the locker room that feel how they feel. I'm pissed, personally. I freaking hate losing. And I want to win. That's why I came here. And this is just not – we're not playing up to our capability right now. So I'm mad. I'm not going to speak on behalf of anybody else.
So there you go. He went on. He kind of said we can't drop a bucket of balls out there. We can't do this. We can't do that. Just what's your initial take on players speaking to the media and then maybe non-position players speaking to the media?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of when teammates did that type of stuff because I feel like, listen, we're talking about the Dodgers too. We're not just talking about the Pirates right now or something. We're talking about the Bucket. We're talking about, the best team in baseball, the World Series champs. And there's not a guy in there that doesn't want to win. They're Clayton, you're talking about the leadership in that place, Clayton Kershaw and Turner and Bellinger and Seager. We got superstar players in that dugout and clubhouse that have just got done winning the World Series. The frustrating thing about baseball is that guys are out there busting their tail, and it goes and runs. Hitting goes and runs, pitching goes and runs, winning goes and runs at times. So does losing, and it's frustrating. But I don't think it's ever a good time to tell the media how you personally feel about I think it's false hustle. It's a little bit of eyewash to me. It's false hustle. It's just, at the end of the day, keep it generic with the media, however annoying that is. Like, hey, listen, there's not a guy. What I would say was, hey, there's not a guy in that clubhouse that wants to be losing right now. We're very frustrated. We're going to get it going. We're going to figure it out and get things going. Now, if you have a problem with somebody in the clubhouse or you need to call a team meeting, that's a different thing. Keep it in the clubhouse, keep it out there. But to say at your press conference, it's more of, I think it's just a little bit of eyewash. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, so following up with that, they have other leaders on that team. If you're Kershaw, if you're any of those other guys, do you go talk to Bauer? Is there an internal conversation? Or, you know what you got him for, right? I mean, he's going to talk. So
now, guys are who they are. Bauer, it's okay for him to talk. That is who he is. But the biggest thing is, when you put that out there, now you really got to go back it up. You know what I mean? So it's like you can put that out there, but with your teammates, if you're going to put that out there and kind of throw us maybe under the bus a little bit, you better go out there and post every day and dominate. So I think you put a little more pressure on yourself to go out there and be the ace he is. Now he's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he is an ace. So he probably has the arsenal to back that up.
Nice. All right. Next topic got going on is a little more fun, and the story Sean's about to tell after this one is one for the ages. Mets, last time we came on, Case, they were 13-13. They've won 7 in a row. Last Friday, they were in a matchup where 7th inning, something screwy happened between Lindor and McNeil. They go down into the tunnel. It seems like there's controversy. Maybe they're yelling at each other. Lindor spoke after the game and had a little different take on what's going on.
Steve, it was funny because I told him, I was like, hey, I'd never seen a New York rat. So we went down sprinting. I wanted to go see a New York rat. And he got mad at me. He's like, no, it's not a rat. It's a raccoon. I'm like, hell no, man. It's a damn rat. It's a New York rat, man. I was just crazy because we were going back and forth debating if it was a rat or a raccoon. Crazy, man. Insane.
Well, here's the thing on that. I played the sound for you, and I thought you were going to go in one direction, but you're going in a totally different direction. You haven't experienced much like this.
You know what? It's funny. Obviously we know that Lindor and McNeil probably got into it a little bit in the tunnel, and it came to the rat-raccoon story. But, what jarred my memory was I had an experience in Shea Stadium back when I was with the Reds. I think I wasn't starting that day, and Bob Boone was like, hey, Case, you're going to hit when John Franco comes in. If he closes it out, you're going to hit. I'm like, all right, I'll be ready. So, when you're on the bench, you got to figure out, you got to get the blood moving. You're sitting on the bench all day. You got to get things rolling, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up and, get ready. Now, Shea Stadium, I'm so glad they blew up Shea Stadium because it needed to be blown up, right? By the time, and this is probably 2003, right? And it's one of those places, it just, when you'd come out of the clubhouse to the dugout, you had to go down this it was dangerous. It was this bootleg, concrete, and you look up, you feel like you're at a high school football game. There's literally bleachers above us. It's dripping liquid you've never seen before. You're like, if you touch that liquid, you might die. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is. So when in the eighth inning, boom, here we go. I'm like, okay, I gotta go get ready. So I go back up the stairs, and the clubhouse is probably 40 feet away, and in between the clubhouse and the dugout, there's these two curtains. You can't make this stuff up, James. There's these two curtains sitting there, right? Boom, what you do behind those curtains, you think it's going to be the Wizard of Oz, but it's not. What it is it's the tee area to warm up, right? And not only is it the tee area, it's this turf they cut out back probably when they found it at Modell's somewhere, when Modell's first started out. It's in this little turf, and a guy's sitting there on this tee, right? And they got this bootleg tee, bootleg bucket of balls. But I'm like, I don't care at that time. I just need to warm up, right? So I'm like, okay, boom. I get a ball, put it up there, bam, take a swing. Another ball, put it up there, take a swing, boom. I go to get the third ball. I look down, I'm like, what the freaking New York subway rat? It looked like a Doberman pincher. Freaking thing just, it comes it runs over my feet, right past the bucket of balls. I'm like, oh my God. I literally am I'm freaking out. I run back. I take off. It's like you're scared at night when you think the boogeyman's in your closet. I freaking flying to my parents' room. I go flying back to the dugout. I'm like, you guys aren't completely sure. What's wrong, Case? Humongous Doberman pincher subway rat just ran across my feet. I was trying to warm up, get ready for the game. So no way. So Bob Boone's you ready to go? I was like, listen, I think I'm ready because I don't want to go back and warm up. Get me in the game against Franco. So that was my Shea Stadium, same experience with a rat. But it was Shea, not City Field. I'm sure City Field doesn't have any rats.
Jeez. What do you think if it was? Somebody mentioned it could have been a possum. It could have been something else. Like if you went home, what do you do? What do you do if there's one of those things in your house? I don't even know. Anyway.
Oh my God! No. You just jarred my memory. I had that happen to me one time. We used to have in our garage. We had the the recycling, right, and the garbage. So I would just boom, and sometimes the kids would come in and leave the garage door open. So a couple of years ago, boom, I'm like, it's recycling night, but I'm gonna just put some recycling thing. So I go in the recycling bin, I open it up. Right when I go to throw the recycling, this raccoon's like, have you ever seen a raccoon up close? Like, I'm now face to face with a raccoon, dude. I literally, same reaction. Instead of like being the man and getting a bat and like taking care of the raccoon, I dive back into the house. I'm like, hey, cover kids, a raccoon's in the garage. Boom. I jump out. Now I shut, like an idiot, I shut the garage. Wow, who does that? So then I open the door. The raccoon comes out of the recycling and just starts doing laps like Michael Johnson in the freaking garage. Just, and I'm like, how are we gonna get this thing out of here, right? So like, I ended up like hitting the garage. Thing took off, but I came face to face with a rat and a raccoon.
Oh my God! All right, no segue from there. Impossible. But our last thing is more of a show and tell than a quote of the week. Our boy, one of the best hitters in baseball, Juan Soto, on his off day, posted on Instagram a little image here of him hanging out in his house. But Case, come on, man. This guy's a great player. Look at him. What do we got here? Can we pick this up? Can we clean this up here?
I mean, that looks a little more like Bill Soto than Juan Soto. Like, Bill Soto's at his house somewhere just chilling like that. Juan Soto should at least have some pictures on the wall or something, and like a decent thing. How about a TV on the wall? Like, who has a TV on a stand nowadays? Like, nobody. That's like 1990. That's like my first year in Watertown, New York, 1995. I was like, guys, we need a stand. We need to get the freaking stand for the TV so we can watch it. Like, let's go, Juan. You got to get your TV on the wall, okay? You can't have it on a stand. And how about some pictures? And the Silver Slugger, bro. You're gonna win 10 more of those, maybe 20. Because you're the best hitter in the game. Let's have that up on the wall real nice, just, so you can look at it every day and say, I need another one of those things. Like, that was next level.
Well,
Yeah.
Now I've seen your office in the other place you work, and I kind of know how your rooms look. Do you have any experience from back in the day of living conditions as a 23, 24-year-old ball player like Juan?
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, you know what? I can relate to it. This is where I can't relate to it. Juan Soto is the best hitter in baseball, and that's what his apartment looks like. That's what my apartment looked like in A-ball and AA. And I remember in Akron, Ohio, when I was in Akron, we lived at this place called Timber Top. And, you get the rental furniture. I was living with a guy named Mike Moole and Tony Doherty. We're just like, hey, guys, let's get the cash. We don't have any money at that point in our lives. We're cashing it up. We're trying to, get some furniture. So we get the furniture. Boom. The first night there, we have a workout. I go up to my bed that night. I lay down. I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. And I just jump on the bed real quick. Boom. And boom, bam, it freaking drops down, right? The box spring and the rails it was on just boom. And my bed was like this. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And at that time in my life, I wasn't handy at all. Like I'm reasonably handy, not really, but at least I would put in the effort. But when I was 23, I was 22 in Akron. I'm like, oh man, what a buzzkill! Like, you got to be kidding me that my bed is slanted. So I'm like, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'll just sleep on it tonight, because I got up. I was like, how do I fix this? So I just laid like this, like for the first night. I was like, that ain't bad. It was not that bad. That night, I think I got 3 knocks. Boom, I'm raking all summer. I raked all summer, never fixed my bed. I just slept like this.
You didn't fix the bed?
I never fixed the bed. I never fixed the bed all summer. But I ended up hitting 386 at Akron, so I was like, man, this worked out great. That's how superstitious you get. That's how superstitious you get as a baseball. I was like, it must be the bed that's getting all these hits every night. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable. So how did you?
Chich, a couple nights too. No, my back was good. I was 22. A couple nights though, I did have I'm a sleepwalker, and a couple nights I felt like I was on the Titanic, and I was like hanging on to it. I'm like, Hey guys, Titanic's going down. It's all right though, because I'm good. I'm holding on because the bed's slanted. I can hold on without going in the.
All right. Wow, we're at a pretty good pace here. What do we got so far? Let's rehash things. Best excursion on your call. You got Moltz's no-hitter etiquette. You got regular stuff going on. But now what we're very excited about is a brand new segment, dude. That you came up, your idea. Let's explain it to the peeps and let's give it a shot.
Well, I got a bunch of balls. I got a bucket here. With Jug's bucket. And I put some ball. I always have buckets of balls around the house. I'm like, hey man, and I got Chinchy. My whole career. Go ahead. When I first would come up to the big leagues, I would hold guys on at first and be like, because I was so scared of getting sent down. I was like, if I'm not here any longer, I better get some balls. So I'm like, hey, you could send a ball over if you don't mind. Like I remember asking Chipper Jones. I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? He's like, who's this loser? You know what I mean? And I'm like, any chance you could send over a signed ball? You know what I mean? So it was like, I must have got 300 signed balls my rookie year. And I was like, if I don't play in the big leagues again, at least I'll have balls from guys I talked to at first. So I got all these balls. I'm like, let's do a bucket of balls. Let's pull a ball and let's just pull a ball and see who's in there.
Great. So let's do it. You want some beats with this or you want to keep it low?
Yeah.
All right. How's this?
Yeah, give me some beats.
Where is it?
That sounds like the Pink Panther right there.
You hearing it?
All right, ready? I'm going in.
All right, keep going.
I'm going in the bucket. I'm gonna shuffle them up.
Oh, there it is. All right, we're learning. We're learning on the fly.
Oh, I pulled out a ball that I signed to my parents. That was like my first year in the. How ridiculous is this? Instead of like writing them a nice letter, I got the official National League ball, and I wrote like a whole story to my parents on the ball.
What?
And I didn't even sign it. I said, "Love me."
So why do you have it and your parents don't have it?
Oh, I said, and you know what's so funny? For some reason, I put over here, you old farts will have to put on your glasses to read my note. And I'm that guy right now. I'm like this. I can barely read this freaking ball that I wrote. So that's classic.
Wait, I don't understand. So why'd you take it back? Didn't you give it to them?
Yeah, I guess my parents gave me some stuff recently. Like, hey, we have this stuff at the house.
Take this ball back. We didn't care.
I was like, oh, that ball must have meant so much for you. I'm like, Dad, Mom, thanks for always being there to let my dreams come true. Your love and support have meant more than anything. I thank the good Lord every day. I'm your son. Love you guys, me. And then they gave it back to me. I worked out good.
That's great.
Yeah, it was so sentimental. It was so sentimental. They gave it back to me. It's so good.
All right, let's do one more.
Yes, do one more. Let me see what I got.
Oh.
Yogi Berra. Who has a Yogi Berra ball just sitting in their bucket of balls? How awesome is that, bro?
That's beautiful.
Man, Yogi's a legend. I've met Yogi a couple times. And he's one of those guys, when you're around him, you're a little nervous. Like, you're like, that's Yogi Berra. Like, I remember, like, when I was a couple years ago at the World Series, I was with Harold Reynolds in the box. I think it was in Rob Manfred's box, and Hank Aaron was in there. And it was like, this is Hank Aaron. And I remember having a conversation, like, one of the greatest moments of my life, Chich. Harold's talking to him, and everyone kind of leaves, and I'm sitting. He introduced me to Hank, and I've been around Hank, and I always like, hey, how you doing, Hank? And then Henry Aaron's like one of the greatest, obviously maybe the greatest to ever play the game, but his presence is so different. It's like almost you feel like you're in royalty, right? And sure enough, bro, everyone kind of leaves, and Henry Aaron and I are there talking, and I just start asking him questions, man, and it was one of the coolest moments of my life. He started talking to me about how he used to switch hit in the Negro Leagues. Did you know that? He used to switch hit in the Negro Leagues. Now, when he was hitting in the Negro Leagues, he used to hit cross-handed. Yeah, so like a righty would be like this. He would hit cross-handed like this and raked. But he also hit lefty, right? I'm not sure if he hit lefty cross-handed, but he hit lefty-righty. And he told me this story. He said one day his best friend was throwing him BP, and he was hitting lefty. He ends up hitting a rocket off his knee or something. The guy to be taken to the hospital. And I think that was his last time. He was so upset that he hurt his friend. He never ended up hitting lefty again. And then somebody told him, hey, if you go like this, Hank, you're going to be the greatest player to ever play the game. You're going to be hammering Hank Aaron. He switched his hands from crosshand to regular and became the greatest hitter of all. But I had that conversation, bro. This isn't, I didn't read it in a book. You know what I mean? I'm like talking to Henry Aaron in the booth, watching the World Series, and he's telling me this stuff. I'm like, and I literally had one of those moments, Chinch, where you're like, how did I get here? How did I get here that I'm writing a ball to my parents like this, like, I love you guys, Aaron, they give it back to me, to a couple years later, I'm talking to Henry Aaron, and he's telling me about being in the Negro League, switch hitting, and why he didn't keep going. It's unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up, bro.
That's amazing. He was just so awesome and so kind. Anytime he would be around any of us, like production people, whatever, he just like talked to everybody like a normal person. Just
no. Right. I think that's one thing with him. I'm reading his book right now, and the big thing about it, I don't think he loved the spotlight. I think he just was such a humble, kind guy, and he just treated everybody with respect and kindness. And I think he's more of an introvert than he was an extrovert. So being thrown into that limelight obviously probably wasn't easy for him, but he always treated everybody that we were around like we're like, that's the greatest player ever played. Like, he might be the nicest guy that we've ever met.
That's an amazing story. So what do we think? Success? You guys can chime in. Was this a successful segment? Do we not? And if you like it, what were you saying? Maybe we give somebody away a ball every once in a while?
I was saying maybe in a couple weeks we start giving balls away. We don't know. Maybe I'll sign a ball. Maybe I'll give you Yogi Bear a ball. Or maybe you could have my parents' ball that they didn't want, so I'll just give it to a fan out there. Maybe they want that ball.
Let's start saying baseball, though. Let's start saying baseball instead of
baseball.
Balls.
Yeah, not ball. Not, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, let's say baseball.
Again, we are kind of new, so we need sponsorship. Dude, I found something, I think, to sponsor this segment. You gotta.
Oh, my God.
What do you think here? Look at these guys. Look at this.
Oh, bro. The meatball shop.
The meatball shop. What do we think?
I think they look delicious. And I think.
Yeah. Oops.
Who doesn't want to have some spicy pork balls? Is that what they said there?
Yeah, no, what do they got? They got 4 locations in New York and 1 in Boise, Idaho. Do you see what their types of balls are? I think I sent you that.
Oh, yeah, they got classic balls, spicy heritage pork. Oh, who doesn't want a chicken ball? Who wants a house-made veggie ball? That would be interesting. Yeah. And the buffalo ball appetizer. I tell you what, my buddy Carmen Perrine owns this place called Cucina Bella down here, and he's got the greatest meatballs going. I'm going to call him and say, Carmen, you need to get a bucket of balls, and we can have the buffalo balls.
All right, yeah. No, you know what you say to him?
Making an offer again with you.
That's oh, my goodness. All right, so we've gone far. Now we got a new segment. We think people will like it.
Email Sean at mayorsoffice21@gmail.com.
That's your new email address, by the way. Yeah, your girl has it, so.
Okay.
You didn't know you have an email address, do you?
I didn't even know. Great.
All right, cool. This is it, though. Moment we all wait for every week. Time to open the cards. Music comes back.
Here we go.
All right.
By
the way, Eric Burns keeps chiming in. He just trolls our show all the time.
Yeah, Burns. Get a hold of your stuff, Burns.
I believe he's gotten a bucket of balls.
Here we go.
All right.
I'm gonna pull this one. Okay, so I got Score Series 1, 1991.
91.
I got 1988 Diamond Kings and an 88 Fleer.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Score 91.
Let's do it.
All
Are you scared? You nervous? This is not easy. By the way, people at home, he's really nervous every time he does this.
I am really? A little. What if we don't have a story in here, Chase? What if we don't have a story? Are we gonna? I think we got one.
Okay.
We got one right away. Okay.
Good.
Okay. We got Ricky Jordan.
Nice.
We got Glenn Bragg. Oh my gosh, dude! This is why this segment's so good, bro. Because it jars my memory. It's unbelievable. Jerome Walton. You remember Jerome Walton?
Yes. He was a huge prospect.
Stud center fielder. Wally Backman. Okay. Mark Langston. John Moses. That's what I was talking about when I did the no-hitter and I said Holy Moses. I was really saying Holy John Moses. Otis Nixon. Oh my gosh. Canseco with his shirt off.
I had that whole collection of like 10 of them.
Do you remember this card?
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, I got some great cards in here. This is great. Gary Gaetti. Gary was great guy. Bonds. I got so many stories here. I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh! Another guy, Mike Harkey. I think Harkey, is he the bullpen coach for the Yankees or the Phillies? I know him. He's
like 9.5 feet tall and 440 pounds of muscle. He's the biggest dude in every stadium he ever goes to.
Kevin McReynolds. Willie Randolph.
That's him.
Tom Glavine. Ken Oberfell. Remember Ken Oberfell?
Yes.
Didn't he play with the Braves too back when they were America's team?
I'll look it up.
I think he did, because I remember I loved wrestling back then. It'd be like NWA wrestling would be on at 7:05, and then you'd watch like Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen dominate, and then they'd be like, "Stay tuned for Ken Oberfell, Bob Horner, and Dale Murphy and America's team." And I'm like, "America's team? These guys stink." At that time, not America's team. I'm like, who made them America's team? Like, that's ridiculous.
They had a TV station. That went a long way.
Crazy. Okay. Let me pick it out.
Plenty of stories about something.
Let me pick out a story. Okay, I'll go with the Ricky Jordan story just because it was the first card I picked. But I have a couple other stories I could pull out. But we'll go with the Ricky Jordan story. So I'm 14 years old. My dad's like, "Hey, let's take a trip to spring training," right? And I'm a big card collector at the time. I got cards everywhere. I'm so excited. I'm even going to shows and like setting up, and like I didn't make any money, but I thought I was gonna. So Ricky Jordan was a big rookie back then. I believe I want to say that was probably like 88 or 89, somewhere like that, right? And so my dad and I go down to camp. We're going to Bradenton, obviously see the Pirates play, because that's where I'm from. Pittsburgh was a big Pirate fan, and Ricky Jordan was one of the big rookies. But I had all his cards, right? I had all Ricky Jordan's rookie cards, and I'm like, "Dad, can we go when they play the Phillies? Because I want to see this guy, Ricky Jordan." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." So we go down, and I have all my cards, and I go down before the game, like, Ricky, a little bit of weight problem at the time, so I'm like the chunky kid with the knockdowns. I'm like, "Hey, Ricky, hey, baby, sign my card, Ricky." So then he's like, "Man, I feel bad for that kid." The next thing you know, he's over there. He's like, "Yeah, let me sign your card." So I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." I pull out. I was the fan that like was so annoying when I played, like the guy that would give you 2 pictures, and then you'd go down the line, and all you would see was this. He'd be like, I'm like, "Dude, I can see you behind all the people. I already signed 2 pictures. Get a hold of yourself." So I pull out like 10 rookie cards for Ricky Jordan, because I obviously don't know autograph etiquette. And boom, he signs like 2 of them, and then he goes on. So I'm like, great. So my dad gets some seats. We're in like the second deck, up on first base. And I just came from Pittsburgh, bro. I mean, I'm like, my body looks like mayonnaise. My body looks like a jar of Hellman's mayonnaise. I'm just Irish, straight white. And when you're with your dad, he doesn't put sunscreen on. When you're with your mom, she's like, "You got to get the sunscreen on." 70, she comes out with a fire hose of sunscreen. It's like, and you're like, "Ah," for your mom. So I'm like, my dad the sunscreen doesn't even come up in the conversation of, we're going to a game that's 90 degrees out in freaking March, and we're just coming from Pittsburgh day one. So I'm sitting there, I'm just up there. I'm like, this is great, Dad. Thanks so much. Crushed a hot dog, nachos. I'm like, this is the greatest game ever. Ricky Jordan got a couple knocks. Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke, all those guys are raking. And the sun is just beating on me. I can remember it was to my right. It's beating on me like you wouldn't believe. It's like I'm in a microwave. I'm like, God, it's a little hot. It's like, when the sun gets you too, Chich, you're like trying to get it off you. It's stinging you, right? Like you have the same skin I do. It stings you. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? So I'm like, at the end of the game, like, "Dad, that was a great game. We got Ricky Jordan's autograph. So fun. Can't wait to tell Mom. So great, blah, blah." So we get back to the hotel. And, I'm getting ready to get in the shower, and I'm just like, I turn the shower on, and boom, I get hit. It's like unbelievable, like bee stings. I'm like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I look in the mirror. It's the first time I looked in the mirror. From here all the way down, I look like a tomato, like a red tomato, ripe red tomato. And I mean, I'm as burnt. I have a couple blisters on my shoulder. I'm as burnt as a human could be. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is unbelievable, Dad. I can't believe you didn't get me sunscreen." He's like, "Oh, son, I guess we forgot the sunscreens. Whatever, 1988. We didn't know the sun was that bad." But the worst part was I was half red. So the next day I said, "Dad, let's not go to the game. Let's sit by the pool, and I'll lay out." And this is a true story. I laid out at the pool for like 20 minutes on my right side just to make sure I get some more sun on my left side so I get some sun on it. So that's my Ricky Jordan story. Not a ton of Ricky Jordan, but it had a lot to do with sunburn, bad dad etiquette, no sunscreen, and just freaking Irish skin mayonnaise body from Pittsburgh.
Oh my God. That was unbelievable. Body built like mayonnaise, sunburn like bee stings.
Bee stings, yes.
Yeah, and your dad didn't give you sunscreen, and then he's like, hey, by the way, all these balls you've signed for us and written to us, can you get them out of my garage, please?
And son, one day when you make the big leagues and you're a 3-time All-Star, take your balls back your baseballs back that you set mom and I. Okay?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I think we've said it all, man. Look at this. All right, we're stretching it out. We're stretching out. We got like 13 more minutes that we've done than last week. And this doesn't include Burns coming on. We're not letting Burns doing the show again like he did last week. So what do you think, man? How we feeling?
I love it, bro.
Back home, I'll get the audio set up better a little bit.
Okay, cool, man. No, I think, dude, I love it, bro. This is a lot. Chicks, I love it, man. I look forward to it. It's a lot of fun. And hopefully everyone that's watching out there is coming along for the ride in the mayor's office, and they're jumping on and just enjoying themselves too. We got way more. We got a ton more. I had seriously, I can't believe it, but I had at least 4 stories in this pack.
Well, you want to do another, or you want to save them?
Let's save them. Let's save them.
Yeah. I don't think you can do any better ever in the rest of your life than the story you just told. So.
No, I got more with that change. I got more.
Nice. All right. Well.
All right, brother.
We'll be back again next week, right?
We did it, man. Yeah, we will be back next week. We'll let you know the time here soon. We're live on No Filter, but we're also, what are we getting out there, Chicks? We're on YouTube.
We'll be on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all that after the show. We're going to go edit it down. I'll fix the audio for your home here, brother. Then. All right, bro. I love you.
Hey, at least No Filter shows everybody where the sausage is made, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
This is where the sausage is made, right here.
Exactly. Great point. All right.
All right, Chicks. Love you, brother. See you next week, man. Yep. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you guys soon. See you next week.